I love my Sony A7C, but it's got this huge problem. The video stabilization is absolutely awful. I have steady shot on, but as you can see from these clips, it's as if nothing is working. Sony cameras famously have bad video stabilization, and it's because of a lot of factors, like it's got smaller IBIS mechanisms on the inside because Sony wants to make the smallest cameras possible for full frame, and it could have something to do with the smaller E-mount opening, which works for both full frame and APS-C sensor Sony cameras, which is amazing, but that means that the sensor has less room to see the full width of what's going through the lens, and the IBIS mechanism won't work as well. Another factor is the Sony A7C is so small that any slight movement is going to be picked up by the camera, and that's just a result of the A7C line trying to be as small as possible. When you have something heavier, you can stabilize it and be way smoother. It's physics. Sony knows about this, and they try to fix it with active stabilization and dynamic active stabilization, which crops in 20, sometimes 40, 50% into your frame in order to use the gyro data going to the camera to help smooth out any movements. And gyro data is important. Sony added gyroscopic data to video files on the Sony A7C and all future Sony cameras. And you can fix this stabilization amazingly by using this Sony Catalyst Browse software. You load the clip in, it reads the gyro data, and then you render the clip out, and the results are stunning. But the thing is, if you go and record 400, 500, 600 clips, you're gonna have to do it for every single clip. The workflow for that is gonna take way too long of a time, and I just can't work with that. I want to use the Sony A7C handheld for client work and for when I'm doing traveling personal videos. I was this close to buying a Panasonic camera because the stabilization on those is amazing, the best in the industry for mirrorless cameras. But then I thought I would have to buy the camera body and then the lenses. This is going to be a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 purchase. And I already have a ton of Sony lenses, and I love everything else about the system except for the video stabilization, so I just dealt with it. But what if I told you there's a new solution that uses gyro data from the camera and it works in your video editor timeline, so the workflow is a lot faster? It's by using this software called Gyroflow. Gyroflow is a program similar to Sony Catalyst Browse, except it's free and open source. Recently, the Gyroflow developers only a handful of months ago were able to reverse engineer the coding on Sony cameras, and they were able to access the gyro data. So now it uses data instead of just looking at the frame with software to actually stabilize the footage, and the results are amazing. They came out with a plugin that works in video editing programs like DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, and Final Cut Pro. In your video editing application, you can put the clips in the timeline and put Gyroflow onto those clips, and it will stabilize it using gyro data, and then you continue editing all the other clips. No need to render every single clip. It is awesome. The workflow is great. It's so great that I want to make this video and share with everybody and show you how it works. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, here we are in Resolve, got the Gyroflow plugin installed, and I'm going to show you what this program can do. So here's a shot of me waiting for an Uber ride, and my fiance took the camera. She's not a camera person. She just hits record and just has fun with it. Here's the footage of it before. So you can see she's walking. You can see the footsteps. It's shaky. There's a lot of movement. This clip would be pretty much unusable, okay, because it's too much shakiness. So I'm going to go ahead and add the Gyroflow plugin, and it looks at the clip and looks at the gyro data of the clip and automatically applies settings to it based on the camera and the lens profile. Over here on the right in the inspector, I have here a bunch of settings, and I have found that the integration method, if you switch it to VQF, that works the best. I'm gonna reduce this smoothness. I think is very strong. I'm gonna reduce it down to just 20, because the more smoothness that you have, the more it's gonna crop into the footage, the more it's gonna smooth it out, and I wanna get more of the frame. So I just put it down to 20, and look at that. Isn't that crazy? All of the shakiness is gone. All of the wobbliness is gone. The footsteps, 90% of them are gone. They were heavy footsteps. You can see a little bit, but look at the difference. This is the before without Gyroflow, and then just putting it on. It just smoothed it out. It is just wild. And you can click over here, click stabilization overview, and it'll actually in a really cool way show you how it's working. So that's the inside square is what's stabilized, and the outside is all the crazy wonkiness, the movement that it is fixing. It is just awesome. I mean, and again, this is without even trying. Someone just who's not into cameras is just using camera to record and have fun, and that is the result. Okay, let me show you another example. This is of me recording, and I'm walking, literally walking with a camera. This is during a Philadelphia tour, and our tour guide is walking us through this area. And as you can see, it is shaky. It's awful. It's bad. I'm going to load Gyroflow onto this clip. I'm going to bring the smoothness down to 18, put it on VQF, and watch this. Guys, do you see this? Do you see any of the shakiness, any of the wobbliness? This is the before again. Shut it off. Boom, 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 boom. With a third-party lens, by the way. This is with the Viltrox 20mm 2.8 air lens, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. This is a third-party lens. This is it with it off. This is with it on. Smoothness is only at 18. Do you see that? If you put out the default smoothness, you get the floating camera kind of look. I don't like to put it that strong because it crops in a lot. I want as much as the frame as possible. I want to see how little I can get away with it. Even maybe just 9%. Look at that, 9%. This is working out just great. One issue with a lot of active stabilization or dynamic active stabilization on the newer Sony cameras that I've tried is that it works great if you're just walking straight forward, but sometimes you see these little jitters in the sensor, and if you pan at all, it just ruins the footage. But check out what Gyroflow can do. So this is the Philadelphia Museum of Art. This is a panning clip that I did showing the entrance area, okay? Gonna put Gyroflow on it. Is it gonna make it look horrible, the panning? I'm gonna bring down that smoothness, put the integration to VQF. Guys, this is a panning shot using the gyro data to stabilize it. Do you see this? Do you see any jitteriness? Do you see any sensor shocks? Do you see any weird movements? No, it's just a panning shot. And it looks great. Again, before, shaky movement. I'm not even keeping it level. I'm moving up and down, moving up and down. Look at the shakes and jitters here. Gonna put this on. Where is that? It's all gone. Completely, absolutely usable footage. Gyroflow has fixed this clip, okay? And even with stationary shots, okay, this is a stationary shot. I'm not even moving. It's just because the Sony A7C is so lightweight that any slight movement, any slight adjustment is gonna be seen on this camera, okay? So I'm gonna put Gyroflow, stationary shot. Because it's stationary, I can get away with a really low smoothness level. I'm just gonna put it at 5, put it on VQF, completely saved. Look at this, look at what it's doing. It's fixing, this is what it's fixing. It's just fixing all these corner wobbles and all this weirdness. And you're not gonna get, as you can see with the walking shot, you guys know that when you're using a stabilized lens, that when you're doing a walking shot, the corners can get wobbly and weird and wonky. Look at these corners here, okay? Look at the corners. It's not bad at all. There is a little bit. I'm not gonna say it's completely gone, but it is, if you're looking at the center of the frame, you're not even gonna notice it. You're not even gonna notice this. This Gyroflow plugin is amazing. It's cool. It's great, okay? Now, let me just show you an example. What I used to previously do is I just used Resolve's built-in stabilization, which is just software-based. It's looking at the video clip and putting stabilization over it. It's not using the gyro data. And it's pretty good. So I'm gonna stabilize this clip, and this is the DaVinci Resolve stabilization. Pretty good, pretty good. But it's not using gyro data, and a lot of times with other clips, it just doesn't work as well. Here it is with Gyroflow, 10%. Incredibly smooth, incredibly smooth. And remember, this is it with it off, okay? Wobble, 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 movement, shake, wobble, movement, shake. And when you use the built-in stabilizer tools like the Resolve Stabilization or Warp Stabilizer, sometimes you'll see weird motion artifacts that are bizarre, and that's because trying to fix it. Or sometimes you see jolts or jitters that are really strange. I don't get that with the Gyroflow because, again, it's using the Gyroflow data to stabilize it, and the results are amazing. Like, just look at how good this is. Just gotta shut off this stabilization overview. And here's another clip of me walking. This is in the Philadelphia City Hall. This is during a tour. I'm just gonna put the Gyroflow on, bring it down to 16, VQF, disable it. This is what it looks like before. This is me trying to stay with the tour guide, walking, step, boom, 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 jitter. Okay, let's turn it on, Gyroflow. 15% smoothness, VQF. Look at that. Completely saved. Completely saved. Are you sure this is a Sony A7C? This is really Sony A7C with a third-party lens. This is insane. This is crazy. Okay, here's another shot. This one is moving and panning of the Liberty Bell. Okay, this is my clip that I got. Look at that beautiful Liberty Bell from the back side. Looks pretty, right? Okay, now I'm just gonna copy the Gyroflow plugin, put it over here. One thing that's a little annoying, I hope that the Gyroflow developers fix, is that the settings stay the same when you copy and paste, or at least let us change the default settings, because I have to go in and click VQF every time, change the smoothness every time. Okay, I'm walking a lot, so I'm gonna put smoothness to 25. Guys, do you see this? Is this the same clip? Okay, this is the before. Look at this. Earthquake. Awful. I'm kind of trying, but I'm not doing any special walk or anything. I can turn the smoothness down. I'm going to turn the smoothness down to 7. Look at that. You get more of the frame. Completely saved. Completely beautiful, amazing shot. And this is the power of the Gyroflow plugin, reading the gyro data, being able to edit it right in the timeline. You apply it to all these clips, and you can click play, and you can watch it back, and you can continue editing and working on it. No need to render the clips out, reading the gyro data, but not all is perfect. Okay, so what are the cons of using this plugin? First of all, you have to put on every single clip. You can't just put on an adjustment clip and apply it to all the clips. It has to read the actual clip's gyro data, and that is unique for every clip. So you have to put on every single clip. And another negative is that it's not saving when I copy and paste the plugin to another one. It's not saving the smoothness level or the integration method, which means you're going to have to go in, you're going to have to change the integration method every single time and adjust the smoothness. Now with the smoothness thing, I get it. You know, you have to look at every clip and you have to adjust it on an individual basis. So that's not really a knock against it. I just wish the integration method stayed at VQF. So the best way to do the workflow with this is to do your full edit. Don't put Gyroflow on anything. Make the whole video completely done. Then you put Gyroflow on one clip, copy it, and then paste it onto all the other clips, and then watch through, go through and change the integration method, change the smoothness level for each clip. That's the fastest workflow. Don't be putting on each clip while you're editing. Is just going to slow things down. Another con you got to be aware of is once you put Gyroflow on like 100, 200 clips, sometimes there's a weird missing frame when it goes between clips. I'm playing it back now and it's not showing. I'm trying to show it to you, but it's not happening. Sometimes it'll just like freeze for 2 to 3 frames as it's switching clips. I've got a pretty beefy system, i7-12700K overclocked, 4070 super graphic card, 32 gigs, 6000 megahertz RAM, DDR5, and it's still doing it for me. Even with proxied video files in this timeline where it's not proxied, I even put the playback to quarter resolution and it's still doing it. The only fix I would find is you just play the clips a couple of times and then it smooths it out. So that's why I say to completely finish the edit, make sure your cuts are perfect, and then put the Gyroflow plugin on each single clip. Hopefully the Gyroflow developers continue to optimize and make this plugin better so it doesn't do that little frame skippy thing. It really is a small price to pay having to restart the video app every now and again, or just replay the clips to make it smooth. Because now even with the Sony A7C and any other Sony cameras that have come out since then, we can get the gyro data and make it smooth in the timeline, complete the edit, and then render it out. And this is the awesomeness of the Gyroflow plugin in the video editing app. One of the best parts about it is that it's kind of well known that if you use a third-party lens on a Sony camera, the stabilization is even worse than with a Sony lens. All of the clips that I showed you of Philadelphia were filmed using a Viltrox 20mm 2.8 Air lens, a third-party lens. I already own a Sony 20mm 1.8 G lens, which is an incredible, amazing lens, super sharp, and I love it to death. But as you can see, it's a little heavy and it's a little big, especially on the Sony A7C, and you're walking around for 9 hours in the whole day. I wanted something lighter, and this Viltrox is half the weight and pretty much half the size of the Sony lens with all the same sharpness and autofocus performance. The best part is that this lens was $175. The Sony 20mm 1.8 G is a $900 lens new. This is $175. Yes, it's 1.8 and this is 2.8, but when you're traveling outdoors in sunlight and vlogging, you don't need those high apertures. Same autofocus performance, same sharpness, $175. I bought this lens to test out Gyroflow and to test out the A7C with this setup to show you in this video. All the shots of Philadelphia were with this lens, and it's awesome. If you want to try it out, I'm going to put an Amazon affiliate link down below where if you buy using that link, I'm going to get a small percentage of the sale back to me. It's kind of like a thank you, or it's supporting me to make more videos. This has officially resolved my want to get a Panasonic camera for that video stabilization. Now, yes, it would be awesome if the stabilization was built into the camera and into the clip itself so you don't have to do these extra steps in the video editing application. But it's a compromise that is free. It's free and the results are amazing, and it's not using any software, it's using the gyro data, and I think the results speak for themselves. I'm really happy with the solution. I'm really happy to share it with you. I want you to download it and try it out, get it installed in your system, and try it with your Sony A7C or any of the newer Sony cameras. It can access the gyro data. Check it out for yourself and see how awesome it is.